3,000 metres steeplechase. This is the very extraordinary Henry Rono of Kenya, the current world record holder for this event, which stands at 8 minutes 5.4. He really has a lead of over 100 metres, and the rest of them fighting for the first 5 places, plus the 2 fastest losers, look as though they're in another race. That other race is being led by Ian Gilmore of Scotland, from Tony Stainings of England, and then Ewan Robertson of New Zealand. But this man is laying on a demonstration of most extraordinary running. He's already seen his fellow countryman, Kipnatich Rono, same name, no relation, win the first heat in 8:31, so there's bound to be 2 Ronos in the final. A lap and a half to go. This is a course with the water jump on the outside, so it's difficult to estimate his potential time, but he looks as though he's running around about 8:22, something like that. Leaping easily the 12-foot water jump. A race of 7.5 laps, 28 hurdles, 7 water jumps. One more barrier. Tony Stainings moved into second place. But 2:77, Henry Rono of Kenya, the current world record holder for the 3,000 metres steeplechase, the 3,000 metres flat, the 5,000 metres and the 10,000 metres, all set within the space of 2 months this year. Set his steeplechase record on May the 13th, that world record. The 26-year-old Kenyan at Washington State University in America. And this has vastly entertained the crowd that have stayed, and it's going to be a fast time. There he is, sprinting between the hurdles, using this as a training session, although he's in the final of the 3,000 metre steeplechase plus the 5,000 metres. So 200 metres to go. Just over that, his final water jump. The water jump, which proved a bit of a tricky barrier to fellow countryman Kipnatich Rono, had a bit of a stumble at it, but here he is launching himself down the straight. 8:10, 8:11, it'll be about 8:25, easily clearing that final hurdle. Tony Stainings way back, but ahead of the rest of the batch in second place. The clock stopping there, 8:26.19, and now battling away for the first 5 in each of these 2 heats. Tony Stainings for England, 25-year-old, who was 11th in the Olympics, coming safely in from Ewan Robertson of New Zealand, and Ian Gilmore of Scotland. They're bound to qualify, and John Wilde, too, will make the 5th that qualifies.
8:20s. Henry Rono, of course, will take on Brendan Foster in the 5,000 metres later on in the week. That's Stainings going to the picture. John Davis not having too happy a ride, the silver medalist 4 years ago. So Henry Rono out by himself. He's begun to break away from Kipnatich Rono. Munyala is 3rd, Robertson 4, Healy 5, and Dennis Coates having a really terrible time back in 6th place. He's really losing ground. 3 laps left for the leader, and Rono getting away now with every stride. He's really kicking in a little bit of pace. The last lap was 73 seconds. Just a reminder again, don't be confused too much by the laps, because the steeplechase barrier here is on the outside. It's the chasing group. Robertson splitting the 2 Kenyans. Kipnatich Rono 2nd, Robertson 3rd for New Zealand, Munyala 4, and Healy running well for New Zealand in 5th place. And Coates paying for the early pace a little bit and finding conditions so difficult. Now back 6th.
Well, Henry Rono has established an enormous lead now. 5'7" Rono, 139 pounds. Comes from the Kapsabet School in the Kiptorogon village in the Nandi Hills at 7,600 feet. He's at present at Washington State University, which was famous for Jerry Lindgren back in the 60s. The coach there, John Chaplin, has nurtured a whole school of these Kenyan athletes along. Henry Rono is a very bright and intelligent student doing business administration. He runs for training in that Snake River Canyon, the one that Evel Knievel jumped on a motorbike, or attempted to at least. Every morning he trains about 80, 90 miles a week. And although he'd been to see the great Kip Keino run, he'd never met him until Montreal, and then they didn't have the chance to get together much. But he really is opening up an enormous gap now.
And he really is beginning to power away in every sense. Suddenly, it wasn't so much a spurt as a gradual increase of speed, and it was most noticeable how quickly he stretched away from the others. But the race between the others is beginning to develop between purely Kenya and New Zealand. Dennis Coates has dropped right out of it now. He's hopelessly out of touch. Rono is in second place, third Manyala, fourth Ewan Robertson, Healy dropping a little bit. Henry Rono just looks back. He won't want too hard a race, presumably, but these Kenyans like to demonstrate their power. The last lap. He'll be more interested now, and he's possibly thinking already about the battle with Brendan Foster later in the week. Ewan Robertson, meanwhile, has gone into second place. Third is Manyala. Fourth is Rono. Fifth, Healy. Sixth, Coates. Really opening out now. Elastic stride. He really is a superb mover. And the crowd thoroughly enjoying not only the leader, but also the battle for the silver medal. That's Robertson reading the two Kenyans. Rono's gone into third place. Fourth is Manyala. Rono into the water jump for the last time. Just one barrier away from the gold medal. And the Kenyans now having a private battle, which has left Robertson behind. So Rono comes home for the gold medal. Little knowing that behind him is a clean sweep now for Kenya. Henry Rono wins. 8 minutes and 26 seconds. In second place, Manyala with a tremendous sprint to beat Rono. But the Kenyans have dominated the event. 1, 2, 3. Robertson, New Zealand, is 4. 5 is Mark Healy of New Zealand. 6 is Dennis Coates. 7 is Tony Stannings. 8 is Ian Gilmore of Scotland. 9 is John Wilde of England. And 10th will be John Davis of Wales. That's Dixon. Then Brendan Foster, the 10,000-metre champion. Henry Rono, the world record holder of Kenya, goes up on the outside. Mike McLeod of England next to the back. And wearing the headband right at the back is Nat Muir of Scotland. And Rono goes up. He's now taking it over, and he's run a strange sort of race. He let them go with a modest pace of 70 seconds in the first lap, and at that stage, he must have been 5 seconds behind. At 800 metres, he must have been about 8, 9, 10 seconds behind the leader, and gradually closed the gap, came up with him, and now he's taking the lead. So, Rono's gone away. Steve Jones leads the chasing group. Steve Jones of Wales, who's in the RAF. And Rono's making sure he's now 10, 12 metres third, Steve Jones. Then comes Mike McLeod. It's one of the lap runners from the Cayman Isles. 3 to go for Rono, 3 to go for the others. Rono's out in front to qualify. So, Rono of Kenya, sure of his place, the world record holder in Thursday's final. And what a final it promises to be. Rod Dixon striding through to take second place. He qualifies too. McLeod's there, Spence is there, and Foster just holding Muir off. So those 6 sure to go through, and Steve Jones inside in the second semi-final. So Rono now in pursuit of his first major title. And straight away it's Nick Rose who's taking the lead. Rose in front, with McLeod of England second, Laurie Spence is third, Tony Simmons 4, and Rod Dixon up there 5. Right on the outside, Steve Jones of Wales. And Rose has gone off in front. He's opened up 7 to 8 metres. And now it's 10 or 12. No one taking up the pace except Henry Rono, who decides Rose has gone too far. Now, these two have competed against each other so often on the American circuit, they know each other well. Nick Rose, a member of the Bristol Athletic Club, who, of course, has been at university in America for several years. Now, a former student of the University of Western Kentucky. Rose leads for England. Rono in second place at the moment. Brendan Foster's third. 4th is Tony Simmons. 5 is Laurie Spence. 6 is Nat Muir. 7 is Steve Jones. Mijoki of Kenya going up on the outside. Approaching the end of the first lap, and the gap has closed. And that lap, 62.5 seconds. The interest in this race reflected in the stadium. Almost every seat sold weeks ago. In fact, a lot of the spectators came very late because the sun on the far side 3 hours ago was so hot it was impossible to sit down there. But that stadium now is packed. That stand now is packed. Rose leads, Rono second, Simmons third, Foster 4, Koskai of Kenya 5, Jones of Wales 6, Spence Scotland 7, Muir Scotland 8.
Interesting that when Nick Rose went off, the first man to spot the break was Henry Rono, and he went straight after him, because whenever you talk to Henry Rono, one of the three names he'll always mention is Nick Rose. They race against one another in the United States on the boards, and he's got the greatest respect for him. 3 times Nick Rose has beaten Henry Rono, and so it was an immediate response out there. And as David Coleman was saying, conditions have changed so dramatically. At 4 p.m. this afternoon, it was 104 degrees Fahrenheit. It's now 7:40. It's much cooler. There's a wind about, and it even looks as though it might rain.
And Rono steps up the pace because that second lap got 3 seconds. It was a 65.5. First lap, 62.5. So Rono leads. Foster takes up the chase. And Rono's got to test Foster, and the tactics are right. Because Foster, just 4 days ago, had that very hard 10,000-meter race. And clearly, Rono's going to find out what's left in Foster's legs. Rose is third. McLeod 4. So England 2, 3, 4. Nyambui, Tanzania 5. Then the 2 Welshmen, Tony Simmons 6 and Steve Jones 7. Majoki of Kenya going up on the outside. Nat Muir is there. Laurie Spence, Rod Dixon, Alan Thurlow. But Rono out in front, and Foster now takes him on. Now, is Foster slowing it down or speeding it up? Coming out to complete 3 laps. And Foster said to me the other night when we gave him a lift back to the village after the 10,000 meters, how do you work out Rono? How can you compete against him? Because his tactics seem to be so strange. So, Rono responds. And the mental battle out there, the battle of wills, is developing.